Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to another vlog. We have a lot to do this week. I have a lot of things around the home that I want to get done this week. I spent some time out in the garden this morning, which I haven't done in a few days. And it is just crazy to me how much the garden changes over a few days and how much produce ripens within that time. So we got a good harvest this morning. I need to work on canning at some point this week, today or tomorrow, because I need to get these things rolling. That way my produce doesn't go bad. But I have lots of tomatoes here, lots of tomatoes in the fridge, and a lot of cucumbers. I think a couple cucumbers may be bad in the fridge. I don't know. They've been in there for a bit, so we'll have to check on those. And I want to can red sauce with the tomatoes. Brendan and I really love red sauce, and so I want to use the tomatoes to can red sauce. I have been looking forward to doing that since I planted the garden and since I decided to do tomatoes in the garden. So I'm really excited for that. I've never done it before, so it'll be a big learning experience, but I'm looking forward to learning how to do all of that. And then with the cucumbers, we eat them just as cucumbers, or I can them and make pickles. So the thing about these cucumbers is they're not a pickling variety of cucumbers, so the skin gets pretty rough. However, they're still good. They're still good pickles. So I'm probably gonna do a lot of pickles and a lot of red sauce at some point in this vlog, either today or tomorrow, because I do need to get that done. As I had my baby shower this past weekend, I am so excited to get started on baby girl's nursery and get everything organized in there. I am 33 weeks pregnant this week, which is just crazy. Like, we're kind of on the home stretch here. And so I want to get started and get going, get finished basically with the nursery and getting all of that organized. I'm really excited to hang up all her things and wash her clothes and just organize that whole area that is her nursery. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'll do that. I have a lot of things that I want to try to get done today, which is just not always doable. Because of where I'm at in pregnancy, I'm definitely more tired, but then also I have kind of started getting more sick. And so there's only so much that I am going to try to take on in a day, and it's not as much as I used to, but that is okay. So we're going to see how much I get done today and how much we just do throughout the week. So I have that to do. Sourdough, I want to update y'all on that. I have a living sourdough starter. It is my sourdough starter. It is living, guys. I'm so excited that we finally got a sourdough starter and got it to grow, got it to be alive. I'm very happy about this. So I am making a loaf of sourdough. Right now it is in the oven for its first little bit, and then I'll take it out, reduce heat, all that, put it back in. But I'm so excited to see how it turns out. I'm kind of nervous because I haven't made it in so long and I don't want it to be a complete fail, because Brendan has also really been looking forward to having sourdough and been asking me about it. So I hope that it turns out, but if it doesn't, at least we have a living sourdough starter so we can try again. I think my biggest issue with the starter is that I would forget to put it. But on top of that, the biggest thing that I found when I started like really researching it instead of just deciding I was going to try to figure it out on my own, because that clearly wasn't working, is to measure out my starter. So I'd always measure out my flour and my water that I put in. Also, if you don't do sourdough, none of this is going to make any sense, but bear with me. I would measure out my flour and my water of my starter, but I never measured out the starter itself. So I think that really helped me get a good starter and helped me learn how to feed the starter so that it either has a longer rise time or a quick rise time and doesn't stay at peak rise as long. But I did a lot of looking into that. I'm so excited that we have the sourdough starter. So I'm not going to kill it this time. I'm going to make sure it stays alive and nothing is going to happen to it, because that was a whole task. And I also know it's not going to be as good as my last one was, because I had my last one for a while. So we got that going. I think other than that, that's kind of all the updates and things I have to say so far for this week. I'm looking forward to all the things we have to do. With that being said, I have some things to start working on, and we're gonna see what task we tackle first. it looks okay, you know? It's not the best loaf. It's been a while. My sourdough starter's new. I'm gonna make all the excuses. It looks okay. I'm excited to cut it. I already want to cut it, but it needs to cool for a little while. It just came out of a 500-degree oven. You know, it filled the house with the smell of fresh bread, so that is always wonderful, but it looks okay, you know? It's decent, and it can only get better. Well, okay, it could get worse. I'm proud of this little sourdough loaf that we completed, but I'm happy with how it's looking, and I'm excited to cut into it, and I will probably see y'all next when I do decide to cut into it. Alright y'all, it's been a little while, and it is time to cut into our sourdough loaf and see if it's good on the inside or not. Yeah, it's cooked. It's not raw. Okay, I had to really look at that, but it is cooked. It's fully cooked, so that is a big plus. I'm gonna have a piece of it with lunch. I don't think I said that this loaf is half all-purpose flour, half fresh milk flour, so I haven't made it like this ever before. So we're gonna see how it tastes, but I'm very happy that it turned out cooked, you know? It's not completely raw in the middle. It is canning day. I just finished all of the prep work for the red sauce, the tomato sauce, and it was a lot, but I finished all of that. Unfortunately, I really don't think I'm gonna get much more than one can because I only had so many tomatoes. So all of the tomatoes are from the garden, and I only had so many. So we'll see how much sauce I actually get. I am using a recipe from this book that I read a while ago. It is Simple Country Living, and I'm using their tomato sauce recipe for canning. I decided instead of doing the pressure canner, I'm gonna just use the water bath canner because that is what she's using in this recipe, and I've never done it before. So I'm just gonna follow everything to her recipe, and then it's just downsized because I didn't have 20 pounds of tomatoes, I had 5. So we're gonna see what we get out of it. Currently, I have the onions and garlic sauteing over here, and then yeah, all the prep work is done. We have our tomatoes cut up in this bowl, my basil's here, and then yeah, we're just gonna start working on it. I have my water bath canner, I have the heat on here, my jars are in there, and we're gonna see how it turns out. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also really excited to see how it turns out and how much red sauce we get. For the recipe, you're supposed to have 20 pounds of tomatoes. I had 5, so everything else just got divided by 4. And then it's supposed to yield 7 1-pint jars. Divide by 4. We'll see what we get out of it. But I am excited to get started on this, and we're gonna see how it all turns out. I wasn't gonna have enough jars for pickles if I actually did the full recipe. However, since I don't have all the tomatoes for the recipe, I think we're gonna can some pickles as well. So let's just see how long it takes. I'm thinking that next time or next season, next growing season, when I do tomatoes, I'm going to do more plants because there's a lot that you can do with tomatoes. So I'm going to do more plants, and I'm probably going to freeze the tomatoes. I'll probably do all the prep work for the sauce, freeze like these kinds of tomatoes, dice them up, freeze them, and then just do one big batch of canning at the end of the season. But I want to have more plants, that way I can yield more tomatoes and then plant them on time instead of a little late. So we're gonna go ahead. I think that my onions and garlic might be ready to add the tomatoes to, so let's take a look. For 20 minutes, so now it's time to add them to the blender and get them all blended up. Then they will go through the strainer back into this pot with the basil and oregano, and then they will boil again for another 20 minutes, and then we'll start putting them into cans. stove. It has to simmer for about 20 minutes or until it reduces by about half. I went ahead and made myself a coffee for the day. I am getting pretty tired, and changed my shirt because I realized a white shirt is probably not the best idea when making tomato sauce. So that is going to sit on the stove for, it's got like roughly 10 minutes left. I'm gonna keep stirring that, and then it's time to put it in the can. I'm excited to see how much it actually made. I don't think it's a lot, but it's my first time. We'll see how it is. It's also a new recipe, so I have no idea what it tastes like. I'm sure it's good. It's just tomato sauce, but that'll be exciting. I'm excited to show Brennan when he gets home that I made canned tomato sauce, and that is something that I've been looking forward to since I started the garden and decided that tomatoes were definitely something I wanted to have in the garden this year for learning how to can and making red sauce. So it's a very exciting day. We are almost done with the red sauce. Gonna move on to the pickles, and then I think I want to show y'all maybe a little sneak peek of the nursery. My mom came over yesterday and we just organized, like went through everything that I got from the baby shower. I still have to do the laundry and then put a lot of her onesies and things back away where they belong, but y'all, the nursery is really coming together and it is becoming my favorite room in the entire house. I'm so excited to share it with y'all, and I cannot believe that baby girl is gonna be here so soon. Before I know it, we're gonna have a little baby, and I'm just so excited. But I'll probably give y'all some sort of sneak peek of the nursery just to show you what it's looking like, because it's exciting. It's a really fun time that we're in right now and a really fun season. So we're gonna finish up this tomato sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and stir it so it doesn't burn on the bottom, and I will see y'all when it's time to can. I destroyed my kitchen, but I finished the tomato sauce. I got a whole 1 jar of tomato sauce with the tomatoes that I had, but I'm still really excited about it. I feel very accomplished making it. Currently, the sauce is in the water bath. It is going to process for 40 minutes, and then I can take it out of the bath. And then I just have to check the seal in 24 hours. I feel very accomplished and very excited. I'm going to pick up some of this chaos before I start the pickles, and then do the pickles, and that will be the canning for today. My first ever canning experience. It was a lot of fun, and I'm excited for next year because I think I will plan it out a little better. I want to have more plants, so there'll be more opportunities for more things to can. Hopefully Dixie doesn't rip out my peppers and everything else, and then maybe I'll do some salsa. I do not have pickling cucumbers. The cucumber variety that I have is not a pickling variety. So when I do make the pickles, the skin is pretty rough on them, but they're still good. We're still gonna make them, still gonna eat them. I've been making refrigerator pickles for a while and we've been eating those. So I'm excited to see how the canning pickles turn out. I'm even more excited for the day that we open that jar of red sauce and get to eat it and make a meal with it and see how it tastes. But we're gonna go ahead, pick up the kitchen because I cannot start I can't start pickles until I've wiped the red sauce off of everything and cleaned everything up. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and probably get started with all of the prep for the pickles while my red sauce is in the water bath processing.